Hi, my name is Lisa Collins, and I am sitting here with my very talented guest, Sylvie Ohayon, and I would just like to welcome you on behalf of the New York Jewish Film Festival 2023's edition to to your Q&A. We are so happy to have you. This is the director and writer of Haute Couture, which was definitely a programming favorite of ours. And I can just tell you, you tell a great story of behind the scenes, but behind the scenes, we really adored your film. So it's a privilege to have you here. And I would just like to start off with perhaps you talking about this film, which really goes down deep behind the scenes and beautifully lensed and wonderfully told in a Paris fashion house, and one where we finally get to see the behind the scenes and a really surprising, unexpected relationship between an unlikely mentor and an unlikely mentee that blooms into something bigger than itself. So perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your film in your own words, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so it's the story of two person that that cannot be how can I explain? It's the story of a loneliness of a lady, a loneliness of a young lady, and they don't have to meet each other because they live in the separate world. So, but when it's the story of a woman that fixes another woman, and it's very important to me because in my life, I mean, I come from the suburb of Paris. I come from a very poor family, and I've been to the university because in France, it's the government gives you money. The state gives you money to study if you are a good young lady to you want to learn. Yeah. So they give you the money for that. And I've been helped by my country, first of all. And then I met a lady one day. I start my first job in advertising, and I met a lady, and she said, "I'm going to help you." And I say, "Why you would do that? Because you're the boss. I'm nobody. I live in the suburb. It took me 2 hours to go back home and 2 hours to come in the morning. So it takes me 4 hours to come and to work and to go back home. And why would you help me?" And she said, "Because I feel that you have something very good to give to the company. So I don't do it for you, I do it for me." So she helped me, and I wanted, to give a kind of tribute to these kind of ladies and the women that they don't speak too much with the media and everything. They're very important person, but they don't speak too much, but they help other women. And she was very rich from a good family and stuff and everything. And she helped me, and she pushed me in my back, and it has given the definition of my way in my job as an advertiser. And I can say that I became a very good advertiser. I made a lot of money, and I bought a big apartment and everything. So I wanted to remember and to give a tribute to this kind of ladies. And the second thing is that I really love my country. I'm a very good patriot. So yeah, and as I told you before, I come from a family. My grandfather, he came from Tunisia, so we were Jewish, and he came to France because the Jewish has to leave the country anyway in 1956. And he was a sewer in Tunisia. And when he arrived to France, he has to paint the apartment of the rich people of Paris. So he made very, very tiny money, but he was working all the time. And he was like, he works with his hands. And I wanted to give a tribute as well to those people who work behind the scene. And the lady, the sewer of the the big company of LVMH and everything. I mean, they do good money, and they really have good money, but sometimes they are building some dresses that cost like 10 years of salaries for them, and they do it with their heart, and they do it very, it's amazing, and it's very touching, and it's a way of working that we have only in Paris, only in France, haute couture. Sorry,
Okay.
I love my country.
That's a beautiful answer. Yes. Well, do I think one thing, a question I had was posing later on actually, but you bring it up now. It's this sort of behind the scenes, and maybe like how maybe speaking just a little bit more to how immigrants come to these countries, oftentimes, not really thought of as patriots, but they are, and how they bring beauty to their world. And maybe you could speak about how this film further highlights, a very specific, a specificness of that.
Yeah, the thing is, I think that it's like we are very proud. For me, for instance, my grandparents, they didn't speak very well French. They used to speak Arabic, and they had the bad French. And for me, I was very proud to study the French language, and I'm so proud to make books. I don't sell very much my books, to be honest with you, but I'm very proud that a publisher said, "Oh, I love what you do." I won a prize like 10 years ago, a prestigious prize in literature, French literature, le Prix de la Closerie des Lilas. So I won with my first books, and I was so proud because I was, wow, my grandfather, he used to speak to me, to talk to me in Arabic, not in French. And now I have a prize, a very prestigious prize in this country. And I think for the sewer, for all the ladies that work in haute couture, there's a lot of people from other countries. They come because they don't make a lot of money, and nobody wants to do that job because you work like 14 hours a day. And you fucked up your eyes and your fingers and everything. So it's really hard job, but they do it because they are very proud to be a part of the dream, to build the dream. I mean, the dream of the haute couture, the French couture. So they are a part of the dream in a way. So they are very proud of that. That's what I felt when I met the ladies. I talked to them, and one of them, she was like 65, and I said, "Why don't you quit? You're okay. You're done. You work like 40." She was working with Monsieur Lagerfeld for 38 years. 38 years and 45 years in the couture, in the big maison, the big houses of couture. And she said, "No, I don't want to leave. I don't want to quit because it's so amazing when you see the dress finished. When you see the lady that come from India, for instance, she took the plane to come to pick up to try the dress, and she's like a little girl, and she has seen everything. She has all the diamonds, all the houses, all the airplanes, everything. But when you see her wearing the dress, and she's like a little girl, like a little princess, it's like, wow." So
like magic almost.
that's magic, yeah.
Yes, some sort of magic. There what I loved, the scenes that are in the fashion house have this, it's a combination of like where a magic meets sort of like science and laboratory, and very pristine movements and a pristine environment. Can you talk about actually being in the house, maybe the research that you did, and just certain things that you showed in the film about needles, all these different things that were just so engrossing.
I stayed like, yeah, it took me like 10 months to meet a lot of women and men as well, because there's a few men that works in haute couture. So I let them talk, and I was, "Tell me about your stories. Tell me about the way you do your job. Tell me about the little stories that make the big story, the big history. So I met, for instance, I met the whole lady. She used to work with Coco Chanel. And she said to me, she was working all the time. That's the secret. There's no genius. She said to me, there's no genius. You can have some idea, but everyone can have ideas, good ideas of clothing, of or everything. But the way that you transform the thing of a magical thing is when you work and you work again. And every morning you go back to work and you go back to work. So, and I think that's my Jewish part, because in my culture, my grandfather, when I was a kid, they used to tell us, because I was raised with my uncles, and they said it's 7 in the morning, so you go to work. And say, I go to school at 10. My school start at 10. No, I don't want to see you in the bed. 7 in the morning, you stand up, you read a book, but you go out of your bedroom. You don't stay in your bedroom. So, it's the way that you raise the children. And that's the first things. And the second thing is the taste of the books, because we had to, in my family, we had to open books and to work. And I've seen that when I met the sewers of all the houses, Chanel, Dior, Saint Laurent, or Louis Vuitton, and all that ladies at 8 they're at the office, and they're working, they're sewing, they do it, they read, they fix it, and they help each other. They help each other a lot.
Speaking of your Jewish side, your Jewishness, and identifying, I have two different questions with that, and then of course talk about the actresses and come back. But I wanted to find out, you have, so this main character, Esther, you by this with this wonderful performance by Nathalie Baye. I wonder, how do you feel that her Jewishness built this composite of the character who we're learning about and we're seeing?
It's the propension to work a lot and a bit of sadness as well, because there's two different kind of Jewish people. There's the Sephardi and the Ashkenazi, so they don't have the same history, as you may know. But for the character of Nathalie Baye, of Esther, I wanted to, because Nathalie, she comes from the ballet. She used to be a dancer when she was very, very young. And it was really hard to her, because her professor told her, she used to tell her, oh, you're very bad, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too fat. And she said it was awful. So it makes me like, I was like a kind of persecution, she told me. And I said, oh yeah, like the Jewish people of the Ashkenazi, of the Eastern Europe, and all those people, the story, the history and everything. And I said, okay, I want you to pick up in this sadness that you have in your heart from your very your childhood, when you start the ballet. Because in our culture, the most important thing is you do your job, you do it good. I mean, whatever is your job, being a mother, being a cooker, cleaning the house, or writing a book. So you work. So,
So
I'm not sure I'm clear, but
yes. Yeah, no, it's always you come to this, the conversations around ethnicity and race and identity. There are always so many like complications with it, and talking, trying to talk within stereotypes and break stereotypes and all of these things. And I did notice that in Haute Couture there was even how the Arab young women identify with themselves and talk about themselves and what is Arab and what is not. Do you have any, I would say, fear, or were you hesitant to have any of those discussions now, as culture is so much more of a sensitive place and space to speak about, the layers of identity?
Yeah, actually, in France, it's a big issue because we have many problems with the racism in this country at this moment. Like we had the election a few months ago, and Marine Le Pen, who is extreme right, extreme, voilà, nationalism. She was able to win the country, so everyone were very afraid. So there's a kind of crispation in this country about the identity, the culture, and everything. We have a lot of Muslim. Actually, my father is a Muslim and my mother is Jewish. So you see the problem with me, and there's a lot of opposition between all the cultures in France. So it's interesting your question, because when I wrote the character of Nathalie Baye, of Esther, I had many sentences about her Jewish part, and the young lady Lyna Khoudri, she used to gently attack her about her Judaism, and all the producers told me, no, we can't sell those sentences. No, we're gonna have problem with it. So please, okay, she's Jewish, but not too much. So I had to leave that, And for instance, me, I'm Jewish, as I told you, but I passed my whole life in the church. I love churches. I love the Virgin Maria, Mary.
Mhm.
So I put candles every Sunday. So, but I'm Jewish, but it's okay. I like to go to the church. So, it's not very well seen here in this country. I mean, you cannot mix your identities. You cannot borrow some culture of your neighbor or something. So it's a bit sad in a way.
Can you tell me a little bit about this chemistry that happens so immediately between your actresses? I mean, so many of them, as an ensemble, but the main two, and even you can speak to the four or the five,
Yeah.
but it gets very emotional, and usually it's hard to believe something like that, but it really becomes immediately believable. What do you think that is? Or why that is?
To be honest with you, it's my responsibility to look at them as I love them, and I love those ladies. I love women. I'm very respectful for all that. As I told you at the beginnings of the interview, a lady that she didn't have to help me, and she helped me a lot. My mother, I don't have a father. My mother was very poor, so I wanted to rent an apartment in Paris, and nobody told me no, because your parents cannot help if there is any problem. This lady said, okay, I give the money, no problem. I put my name on the contract, no worry. She helped me, and I think it was my responsibility to look at those actresses as I love them, and I didn't want to have a competition between them, because in my first movie we had problems with the two actresses, the youngest one and the older one. The older one, she was picking the young one, and I said, never again, never ever again. So I made a big lunch with those ladies, and I said, okay, we are here to give a tribute to those women that give their heart to each other. So I want to see that in my movie. And at the end of the movie, as you have seen, maybe I said I dedicate this movie to all the ladies of a good voluntary, and because it's a sentence that's written here at the Panthéon. If to the men, it's written to the men at the who has a good voluntary. And I said, no, there's the women as well, not only the men. So I wanted to take this sentence, very famous in France, and to put it at the end of my movie for the ladies, for the women.
Okay. Yeah, that's great to clarify that reference for us who didn't know. So one thing is, I've noticed after watching several films that we decided that were invited to the festival, it seems like we really have um, a lot of strong films around mother slash mother figure and daughter relationships, and how they can, sort of do everything from cohere and bring peace and love to go off the rails and
Yeah.
and so I'm just curious about this particular I
Yeah,
was going to say
triangle. Yeah, yeah. It's
triangle
you're
or
right. You know why? It's because I'm going to tell you the truth. I have a daughter, and she's really hard to me. She has it was a hard time, and I'm a stepmother of a little one. So when it's my second wedding. So when I marry my second husband, he had a little girl. She was 2 years old. The mother was not really here, so I had to take care of her. So I have a son, I have my daughter, and I have this little one. She was 2, and I took her as my daughter. And one day when she was 8, I said, "Can I call you Mama?" And I said, "No, I'm not your mother. You only have one mother. Your mother is your mother. I'm your stepmother, but I'm here for you." And today she's 18, and she's very happy. She has a good life. She's exactly like me. She has the same taste. She had the same, the way she psycho. She's straight. She works a lot. She's very good at school. So she's exactly the opposite of my daughter, and she really looks like me. See, that's funny. And but she's not my daughter. So I wanted as well to talk about what is it to be a mother, a stepmother, the mother of a child who is not your child. You didn't have her in your body, but you raised her. And today
right.
she's 18. She studied in Canada in McGill. And she texts me, and I said, and she was crying. She didn't want to leave Paris, and I said, "It's a good university, so you have to go there." And they said, I'm far, but I'm here. We have WhatsApp, so every night she texts me all the night. She texts me more than my own daughter.
Yeah. So in a way, I think in translation, it's more like not your daughter biologically flesh and blood, but ultimately your daughter by in every other sense of the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you can you share with us what it was like to work with Dior, perhaps? Or at least to reference them. Did you have
It
issues,
was
or were there
very
challenges,
easy,
or
no issue, no issue. I just wanted to have the real dresses of a haute couture, because as I told you, I really wanted to give a tribute to that wonderful couture that we have in France. Haute couture, you can only call haute couture in France, in Paris. You cannot call haute couture in another country. So haute couture, it's only for France. High couture, it's for France. So I just wanted to give a tribute. So I said to Dior, I don't want to redone the dresses. I want the real dresses. And those dresses, you can believe me, they cost a lot. So we had 2 men like this every day on the set, watching the dresses more than the actresses, because one of the dresses was, she told me like it was 500,000 euros. So €500,000 for one dress, a wedding dress. So I just wanted, and
wow.
I didn't fight. They're very smart, very intelligent, and they was very helpful. So I met them, and I said, okay, I want the right dresses. I want the haute couture dresses. I don't want the copy or prêt-à-porter. I just want the real dresses, the haute couture. And they said, okay. But they said as well, I wanted to have a black lady to have the dresses, the real,
Yes.
for during the film, she's making the dresses, the dress, I don't remember the name of the dress, the white one, the wedding one. And I
Yes.
said, I want to have a black lady, and they said, okay, no worry. So we took Esther. She's not very famous, but she's a model, a French model, Esther.
Yeah.
So she's wearing the dress, because it was very important to me to say, no, I don't want to, I don't want to see a long hair, blonde hair with a white skin, blue eyes lady wearing the very expensive dress. I want a black lady. And I was thinking in myself, they're gonna fight with me, but they didn't. They said, of course, we're gonna, you make as you want. That's a really good idea, because I said the fabric is white, and with the dark skin is going to be beautiful. She's going to be the new princess. And they said, no worry, of course, yes. So it was very easy to work with them. They have been very helpful. Yeah, very.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. It's so from the line of the models seem to be racially, ethnically, of all backgrounds coming out. And I thought that was refreshing, from Asian European to African, African, Afro-European, all of these different things. And even, and even in your cast, gender-wise, there's like a lot of room. You left a big palette for a lot of different, for reality, I suppose, is the best.
And we are in the US, you have in advance on the subject. We're a bit late. I mean, you are in advance and in late, because with the abortion, there's an issue as well in the US anyway. But in New York and LA, the big cities, you are very in advance about the subject, the transition, the transsexuality and everything. But here we're a bit late, we are all countries. So I wanted to have a trans and to show that person that she has a really normal life. She has someone in her life. She says she's selling kebab. So we have a trans, we have gay people, we have a man who is cleaning the atelier at the end of the lady that have the power. So I'm okay. I wanted to mix all the very inclusive population in my movie. It's very important to me.
Well, thank you. It was really noted, and a really great part of your storytelling itself.
Thank you.
And how about just working with Lyna as this new, I guess I don't know how much she as an actress has been in prior, but can you talk about I don't know, yourself maybe as a director, filmmaker, mentoring, and really partnering with this younger actress at this stage? And
Lyna, it was not my first idea, to be honest with you. And a friend of mine, Sylvie Ohayon, who is a French director, and my producer as well, they told me, so they just came back from Cannes Film Festival, and they said, we have seen that little one at the Papicha, the movie called Papicha, and you should meet her. So I met her in a coffee just here in Paris, and I just realized that we have been raised in the same city. I mean, I come from the suburb, as I told you before, La Courneuve, and she comes from Aubervilliers, so it's very close. And we had exactly the same way. It means that we were the same. We have been raised in a horrible landscape, because there's buildings everywhere. You don't see the sky. When it's raining, the walls are gray, the ground is gray, the sky is gray, everything is gray. And we were looking for the sun, her and I, and where is the sun? So we try to travel, because the municipalities, the communists, because they are communists, they gave us money to travel all over the world. So one day they sent us to the United States to say, oh, look at those Americans, they're very bad. You have to pay for school. So you're going to pass 2 months in the US. Okay, I go. So we've been to the US to see how horrible is the system, the American system. And I felt in love with the USA. And I said, I want to go back here. So I go every summer, 1 month from this time in the USA, because it's very important to me to stay there. And but it's like an anecdote, but just to tell you that we've been raised in an area very, very bad, and we wanted to leave. And the first big travel we made was the US, for her and for I as well. And we discovered a new world. I was 17, and it's what? The world can be so big, so huge. I mean, you can have buildings that are beautiful. What? I want to travel everywhere. I want to have a huge life. I want to have a, larger life. So, and Lyna, so too, she has exactly the same thought.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And how did the fashion community so far, or how is the, I guess from publications to maybe the fashion houses themselves, what's the feedback that you've received so far, or perhaps hope to receive? I'm not sure how much or how released the movie's been into the public, but clearly congratulations on Cannes.
Yeah, I think they love the film, and I can tell you that I was very proud that Monsieur Arnaud, the big owner of LVMH, so of Dior, Monsieur Bernard Arnault, so he came to me, he shook my hand and said, "Beautiful movie, congratulations." And I was like, I was like, okay, and I couldn't speak and said, "Thank you," and that's it. And I was very happy of that. He was very happy. He really loved the film. He told me.
Oh wow. And I did love when some of the scenes when they are looking at the fashion line, the I would assume the head designer who you have really doesn't have to say verbally much. It's a lot of you use sound and lack of sound off screen, just gestures a lot to just advance a scene. Maybe you could talk about that. It's very interesting how
because
you do that.
yeah, I wanted to make the spectator, I mean, the audience dream a little bit. So for me, it was very important that we don't have to talk anymore. We just have to see the magic happening. So the music was very important to help that. And the picture, I mean, the dresses, they are so beautiful. So I didn't want to have any word. When I was an advertiser, I did the film for Air France, making the sky the most beautiful place on earth. And I'm very, very scared of taking the airplane. So I said to the client, I don't want to have any word. I just want, like the people, they can fly for 30 seconds watching the advertising on TV. They're going to fly for 30 seconds, not blah, 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 blah. And the client said, okay, that's a good idea. So, and then we have a lot of success. We won a lot of prizes. So I wanted to find back this kind of magic in my movie. When we show the dresses, I just want the people to feel the things, and I don't want to speak to explain. I just want them to discover the beauty, the wonder of the dresses of haute couture.
What's the neighborhood where your character where Lyna?
Banlieue, dans la banlieue, banlieue.
Banlieue.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. It's the suburb. I mean, it's the suburb. Yeah. Because when people arrive from North Africa, so they quick built big buildings, very bad buildings with the wallpaper in paper. You can hear the kitchen of your neighbor and everything. Anyway, so I was raised in this kind of area, and so Lyna too. Lyna, as I told you before, and for me, for instance, when I made a lot of money in advertising, I wanted to go to Chanel to buy me a jacket, a Chanel jacket. And I said, I cannot, because, I come from the banlieue, I come from the suburbs. So I cannot go to this kind of shop. They're going to recognize me and they're going to say, you go out, you bad girl. And well, so I came and I said, well, I won't steal it. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to pay a lot for it. So let's try. And, when I just arrived in the shop, I met like a lady, and she came from the suburb as me, the seller, and she has an accent, because we have an accent. I mean, I don't have it anymore because I left 25 years ago, my suburb, but my banlieue, but we have a tiny accent from the suburb. and we recognized our accent, and we had a big laugh. And I said, what are you doing here? And I said, I want a Chanel jacket because, you know, I want to be the princess of the story. And say, okay, go, come. And, you know, I shouldn't say it, but she gave me a bargain. She
Oh,
gave me a
yes, good.
bargain. Yeah, she said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a bargain, 25% off. And I said, what? And I was laughing. It was my first time at Chanel.
Oh, amazing. See,
Yeah.
Chanel even,
But I
yeah,
told you, all the ladies, sometimes, you know, it's like the karma of the ladies, of the women, they help
yeah.
each other. I love men. Huh? I have a son, I have a husband, I love men. But I can
Right.
say that when the lady, they help each other, it makes like a lot of heat and big things as well.
Yes, exactly. Well, actually, that's one thing I wanted to speak with you about, with now, with your actress, Nathalie Baye, if I've pronounced her correctly, as Esther. And she gives such a powerful and authentic performance that, you know, you could practically like feel her through the screen. I'm just curious, as a creative person, what did you learn either observing her, something that will help you in your practice moving forward? Um, you
The
know,
thing is, yeah, as I told you, is she comes from the ballet. So when she was a child, she used to work very hard to become a dancer, and it was really hard. And I say, okay, you have to go to pick up with these memories, your sadness, the hard time you had at this moment, and then I want you go back to them. So what I learned from her, it's she's here. She has four very big distinction, like a Golden Globe. So in France, we say César. She has four César.
oh, wow.
Yeah. In France, she won four César 4 times. And I realized it's because she's working. She's very serious. She's working a lot. You know, we start the shoot at 8 in the morning. She was here at 6. She has nothing to prove anymore. Nothing, but she was here at 6. And I'm going to tell you something. You can see on the newspaper, if you go on Google, 1 month after the end of the shoot of my movie,
Yeah.
she's been to the hospital. She gets sick, but you know, she didn't, because we shoot in the winter, in December, and at the nighttime, outside it was very cold, and she's like 70 years old woman. She's 70, she's 70, so 72. And she didn't say anything. You know, she was here on time. She was working very hard. And you know, that's the secret again. I mean, what I learned from her, it's you here, you have this way in your life, your in your job, because you have worked every day hard, very seriously. She's very serious. And I just had to tell her, you have to pick up in your memories from the ballet when you used to be so sad and to cry and to swallow your all your pain, all your sadness. You have to swallow everything and smile, because you're a dancer. So you're making the dream of the ballet. So, and I said, okay, you're making the magic with the dresses, but you know, it's hard for your eyes, it's hard for your fingers and everything. It's hard to be stand up like 14 hours a day, but you have to smile because you're building a very beautiful dress. So I want you to remember those times and say, okay, I'm okay.
Oh, that's pretty great. You know, as in her performance, there's like a sternness and a comedy almost at the same
Yeah, because she's very funny.
time.
Yeah, she's very funny.
Yeah. So it's great that she's able to pick up and, you know, transport that.
She's a big actress, and I think she loved the story as well of that lady that's loneliness, and you know, she has problem with her own daughter, as I used to have, and you know, she's gonna fix the relationship with the daughter with another girl. And it's very important for me, I mean, to fix the world by trying to be a good person, help each other, give love in a way, in all ways you can give love by giving your secrets of your job, giving your time, listen to a young lady. So it's kind of love, and it's very important for me, and it's going to save the world. You'll see.
Oh, well, those are amazing, hopefully prophetic and words that we can sort of wrap up our interview with and say to people, go forth with love.
Yeah.
Yes, and as
Love
well.
to save the world. Look like what's happening in Iran today. All the ladies, even the men, they're like, oh, they're amazed. All those ladies, they're bidding for the freedom with the abortion in the US as well. So all those ladies outside, the old ladies, they say, hey, oh, I used to be a young lady and it was a very hard time. So we want to rewrite the story. So they fight. They're like, I've seen on TV, like they are like 85 years old and they're outside by the cold weather and they're fighting for the abortion. And that's great. That's love.
Mm-hmm. Yes, passion and love and sort of believing and sort of helping the world
exactly
advance and progress. Yes. Well, we are so thankful to have you. Should we ask what plans might you have coming up on any new projects, be it books or film?
I have different projects, but at this moment I'm working of because I have a problem with the food. I have TCA, so and I met that chef Guy Savoy. Is the best best restaurant in the world. Is French, and I met that guy, and I met a little boy of 6 years old, passionate, and I wanted to write a story of that chef that's gonna help a young lady to fix her problem with the food by making her taste the taste of life by his food. And I would like to have him in my movie. And I met that man like a few months ago, like 2 months ago, and I've been invited in his restaurant. I didn't know it was the best restaurant in the world. It's the best. He has the price like 3 weeks ago, and I didn't know that. And it's for the 5th years consecutively. It's the 5th time, and he's amazing. He's very honest, very pure, and I would like to write the story of this kind of man helping a young lady to fix a problem with the food.
Oh, great.
Anorexia and everything.
Great. Well, we wish you all the best with that. Thank you again for participating and having your movie with us. And we're looking forward to the audiences enjoying it and telling more folk to see it. So thank you and best of luck and best wishes with it as it moves on with your career.
I send you a lot of Parisian love.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.